Good day, Coach Jude. Good day, classmate. My name is Kadijan Andal and meet my group mates Shamin Saliling, Kismahandang, Alanisa Bara, and Nojelin Baharod. And we are the SH8, the Enfun squad. And my role in this video presentation is to give the overall introduction. Today, we will discuss about factors affecting childhood development. So, let's start with our discussion. Please, Ms. Nojelin Baharod.
Hello, Coach Jude. I'm Norjilin S. Baharod. My role in this video is to discuss about physical development under the factors affecting adolescents' development. Physical development includes both growth and the ability to use muscles and body parts for particular skills. Both grows the large muscles movements and fine the small muscles movements. Motor skills contribute to physical development, and children often learn a set of skills by a certain age. Physical development also experiences and activities are crucial in the early years and are cited as one of the three prime areas of learning and development. Physical development refers to the physical and biological changes that occur in humans between birth and adolescence.
Physical development for me: first, increase in size of genitalia; second, swelling of the breast; third, growth of pubic, axillary, facial, and chest hair; fourth, rapid growth of shoulder breadth; fifth, production of spermatozoa, which is sign of puberty.
Physical development for male. Puberty is crazy time and occurs through a long process beginning with a surge in hormone production, which in turn causes a number of physical changes. Every person's individual timetable for puberty is different. Enlargement of the testicles and scrotum. A near doubling in the advent of puberty as the testicles continue to grow. The skin of the scrotum darkness enlarges, thins, hangs down from the body and becomes dotted with tiny bumps. These are hair follicles. In most boys, one testicle, usually the left, hangs lower than the other. Pubic hair. Fueled by testosterone, the next changes of puberty come in quick succession. A few light-colored, downy hair materialize at the base of the penis. Roughly 2 years after the appearance of pubic hair, sparse hair begins to sprout on a boy's face, legs, arms, and underarms, and later the chest. Boys changes. As their voice box enlarges and the vocal cords grow, their voice may crack as they speak. While this can be embarrassing and annoying, it's a normal part of the growth process.
Physical development for female: first, increase in transverse diameter of the pelvis; second, development of the breast; third, change in the vaginal secretions; fourth, growth of pubic and axillary hair; fifth, menstruation. First menstruation is called menarche, which occurs between 12 to 13 years. Sixth, endocrine system. Temporary imbalance of the entire endocrine system in early adolescent and sex grounds become functional. And now, let's proceed to the next topic.
Sudden acne breakouts can be because of numerous reasons, including hormonal changes or hormonal imbalance, an unhealthy diet including lots of deep fried and junk food, release of cortisol hormones because of excessive stress, excessive production of sebum, and much more. Hips develop. When do hips start growing? Your hips widening is an early sign of puberty and will happen around the same time as your breasts begin developing. In other words, they start widening 1 to 3 years before your first period. The reason your hip changes is to prepare your body for carrying a baby. With the onset of puberty, the male pelvis remains on the same developmental trajectory. while the female pelvis develops in an entirely new direction, becoming wider and reaching its full width around the age of 25 to 30 years. From the age of 40 onward, the female pelvis then begins to narrow again. Slow physical growth. At what age do girls usually finish growing physical? Girls usually stop growing and reach adult height by 14 or 15 years old, or a couple years after menstruation begins. Learn more about growth in girls, what to expect, what it happens, and when you may want to call your child pediatrician. Two boys or girls exactly the same age can start or end puberty years apart, yet still fall within what is considered normal growth. The timing and speed of child's physical development can vary a lot because it is determined largely by the genes inherited from parents. Teen growth pattern. Whatever pattern a teen's growth follows, it is during the pubertal years that your son or daughter grows tall more rapidly than at any other time in a child's life. Girls. On average, rapid growth occurs around age 11 and a half, but it can begin as early as 8 or as late as 14. Boys usually trail behind by about 2 years. This is why 13-year-old girls can, for a time, be a head taller than 13-year-old boys. To help you recognize the many changes that can take place during puberty, remember that every year since the age 2 or 3, your child has grown an average of about 2 inches and gained about 5 pounds. However, while in puberty, you can expect that rate to double. Girls may gain nearly 10 inches and 25 pounds, including 3 or so inches in the 6 to 12 months before they begin having menstruation periods. Lastly, develop body figures. Every body is beautiful. Bodies came in all different shapes and sizes. That's part of what makes each of us unique. It is important to know that there isn't an average or typical body. Some of us are curvier, some of us have narrower hips or broader shoulder. We're all a little bit different. Still, most of us can categorize our shape into a few broad categories. For example, a 2004 study reported that description of female bodies had historically been described in categories based on shapes such as triangles, rectangle, diamond, oval, and hourglass. Some of the most common general categories include rectangle, triangle or pear, inverted triangle or apple, hourglass. These are just a few of the different body types that you might hear about. So what are these different body types? It is important to remember that categorizing body types isn't an exact science. Oftentimes, there's a lot of variation within one type. You may find that your individual shape, feature, characteristics from several of different body types discussed below. Rectangle, straight, or banana. If your waist measurement are about same as your hip or bust, and your shoulder and hips are about the same width, you have what's called banana or rectangle body type. Stylists will probably point you toward off the shoulder tops, tube dresses, and belted waist. Triangle or pear. With this shape, your shoulders and bust are narrower than your hips. You'll probably have slim arms and a fairly defined waist. Your waist most likely slopes out to your hips. Stylists often recommend clothing that show off the waistline. Spoon. The spoon body type is pretty similar to the triangle or pear shape. Your hips are larger than your bust or the rest of your body and may have a shelf-like appearance. You likely have defined waist. You may also carry some weight in your upper arms and upper thighs. You may be told to look for dresses that have classic baby doll, cats or other items with an emperor waist. Hourglass. If your hips and bust are nearly equal in size and you have a well-defined waist that's narrower than both, you have an hourglass shape. Your legs and upper body are probably considered proportionate. Your shoulder may be slightly rounded and you most likely have a rounded buttocks. From fitting or tailored clothing have traditionally been designed with this body type in mind. How to take your measurements. Maybe you immediately recognize your body type in this list of categories. Maybe you didn't. If you want a little help, you can always take your measurements and use those figures to help guide you. Your measurement can also be helpful for general clothes shopping regardless of the type that might fall into. What factors affecting your body shape? Some elements of your body type are determined by your bone structure. For example, some people have a curvier, rounder buttocks and curvature in their spine. Others may have wider hips, shorter legs, or longer torsos. How tall or short you are will also affect the overall shape of your body.
Hi, I'm Shimin Omar Saliling. So, I'll be talking about language development and emotional development. So first, let's focus to language development. So, language development supports many other aspects of development like cognitive, social, and literacy development. Language development starts with sounds and gestures. Then, words and sentences. You can support language development by talking a lot with your child and responding when your child communicates. But child may not like to communicate to adults, or they enjoy talking with friends, often argue rather than discuss, or child does not like grammar, or they may complain that others do not understand them. Child conversation are often about social matters. So here are just a few of the important things your child might achieve in language development between 3 months and 8 years. So 3 to 12 months, at 3 months your baby will mostly likely coo, smile, and laugh. As they grow, your baby will begin to play with sounds and communicate with gestures like waving and pointing. At around 4 to 6 months, your baby will probably start babbling. Baby will make a single syllable sounds like ba first before repeating them ba ba ba. Babbling is followed by the jargon phase where your child may sounds like they're telling you something, but their speech won't sound like recognizable words. First words meaning often start at around 12 months or so. If your baby isn't babbling and isn't using gesture by 12 months, talk to your GP or child and family health nurse. 12 to 18 months at this age, children often say their first words meaning, for example, when your child says dada, your child is actually calling for dad. In the next few months, your child's vocabulary will grow. Your child can understand more than they can say. They can also follow simple instructions like sit down. So, 18 months to 2 years, most children will start to put two words together into short sentences. Your child will understand much of what you say, and you can understand most of what your child says to you. Unfamiliar people will understand about half of what your child says. If your child doesn't have some words by around 18 months, talk to your GP or child and family health nurse or another health professional. Then, 2 to 3 years, your child most likely speaks in a sentence of 3 to 4 words and is getting better at saying words correctly. Your child might play and talk at the same time. Strangers can probably understand about 3/4 of what your child says by the time your child is 3. 3 to 5 years, you can expect longer, more complex conversation about your child's thoughts and feelings. Your child might also ask about things, people, and places that are not in front of them. For example, is it raining at grandma's house too? Your child will probably also want to talk about a wide range of topics and their vocabulary will keep growing. Your child might show understanding of basic grammar and start using sentences with words like because, if, so, or when, and you can look forward to some entertaining stories too. 5 to 8 years during the early school years, your child will learn more words and start to understand how the sounds within language work together. Your child will also become a better storyteller as they learn to put words together in different ways and build different types of sentences. These skills also let your child share ideas and opinions. By 8 years, your child will be able to have adult-like conversation. So let's move on to emotional development. Emotional development refers to the ability to recognize, express, and manage feelings at different stages of life and to have empathy for the feelings of others. The development of these emotions, which include both positive and negative emotions, is largely affected by relationships with parents, siblings, and peers. So, in this topic, we will talk about the child adjustment to a new body image, adaptation to emerging sexuality, the establishment of emotional separation from parents, establishment of a personal sense of identity, further separation from parents, interest in forming romantic relationships, part of separation task, implies separation from family. So these are the 3 major emotional stages in childhood development. So first, noticing emotions, birth to 1 year of age. There are a lot of different theories about how emotions develop and function. Some think we are born with only 3 emotions: happiness, anger, and fear. Others believe that babies are capable of feeling a much wider range from birth. It's impossible to know for sure when they can tell us. But through crying and cooing, babies certainly communicate something. At this stage, an infant is discovering the world, good things like cuddles, bad things like full diapers. They are noticing how everything makes them feel. And the second is expressing emotions, 2 to 3 years. As child develop a vocabulary and more independence, they will experiment with expressing emotions in new ways. Some of it will be productive, like drawing and narrating a picture of the scary monster under the bed. Some of it will be more like throwing a tantrum in grocery store because they can't get cheese puffs. This can be a very difficult stage for adults as children experience complex emotions but have not yet figured out healthy versus unhealthy expression. Third is managing emotions, 3 to 5 years. At this stage, children are ready to enter preschool. A new social environment and more independence provides a great opportunity for growth but also possess some new challenges. Sharing, listening, and playing together can cause friction between children. And since they cannot rely on their parents all the time anymore, they must develop new coping skills to manage on their own. Preschool caregivers play a vital role in this development as they create a safe space and offer guidance.
Good day, Coach Dude. Good day, classmates. My name is Alani Zabara. My role in this video presentation is to discuss emotional development under factors affecting adolescents' development. Adjustment to a new body image. A negative body image involves being overly focused on comparing your size, shape, or appearance to unrealistic ideals. Adaptation to emerging sexuality. The emerging sexuality that accompanies adolescence poses fundamental challenges for young people. Establishment of emotional separation from parents. Emotional and behavioral problems in children are more common when their parents are fighting or separating. Children can become very insecure. Insecurity can cause children to behave like they are much younger. Establishing of a personal sense of identity. Personal identity is the concept you develop about yourself that evolves over the course of your life. This may include aspects of your life that you have to control over, such as when you grow up or the color of your skin, as well as choices you make in life, such as how you spend your time and what you believe. Further separation from parents. There is no legal procedure to leave the house of your parents. After attaining majority, you are free to leave them and reside at the place of your will. Interest in forming romantic relationship, part of separation task, implies separation from family. One of the development tasks of adolescence is to separate from one's family as one becomes an independent young adult.
Social development. This involves learning the values, knowledge, and skills that enable children to relate to others effectively and to contribute in positive ways to family, school, and the community. Children learn. The language of children's feeling is behavior. Non-verbal language, smile, look, approach. Verbal language, greeting, joining, talking, questions. Listening, talking turns. Sensitivity, how their approach affects others. Children who do well are friendly and optimistic, have group joining skills, make relevant contributions, are interested in others, have a predictive understanding of others' reaction to them. Positive nonverbal interaction. Social difficulties. 1/3 of children bring problems from home. 1/3 don't understand how to behave differently. 1/3 are bored or in an inappropriate environment. What parents can do: allow learning from mistakes without ridiculous. Give private, respectful consequences. Let children help set rules. Acknowledge that some children test rules and that they unconsciously do so in order to check out how much people care about them and how much they belong. Principles for child social development. Ask questions that encourage children to put themselves in someone else's shoes. Supervise and support children's social activities without taking over. Show you are willing to listen and take children's feelings into consideration. Social development from infancy to adolescence. Learning objectives. Erikson's theory, 8 stages of social development according to Erikson. Erikson 1986 theory. Erikson theory have 8 stages of social development. Each stage consists of development paths that confronts individual with crisis. Each crisis is not a therapeutic but a turning point of increased vulnerability and change potential. Trust versus mistrust. The developmental task requires warmth and caregiving. The positive outcomes is a feeling of comfort. Mistrust develops when infants are treated too negatively. Industry versus inferiority. As kids move into elementary school years, they direct their energy toward mastering knowledge, intellectual skills. The danger in these years is developing a sense of inferiority and incompetence. Intimacy versus isolation. The developmental task is to form positive, close relationship with others. For such individuals, loneliness can become a dark cloud over their lives. Initiative versus guilt. In this stage, adults expect children to become more responsible. Children develop uncomfortable guilt feelings if they are irresponsible or are made to feel too anxious. Integrity versus despair. Adults review their lives, reflecting on what they have done. If the retrospective evaluation and positive, they a sense of integrity. In contrast, older adults become despairing if their backward glance are moving negative.
Conclusion. During the late teens and early 20s, young people experience a period of frequent change. This time is characterized by exploration of relationships, shifting worldviews and value systems, and career and work possibilities. The lessons learned during these years lead to decisions with lifelong ramifications. This transitional period is an important time to weigh future life courses, while outside and familial responsibilities are relatively low. The developmental milestones reached during this year set young people on a pathway to becoming healthy and productive adults. This time is also a period of vulnerability and risk as young people begin to disconnect from familial supports, experience changes in residence, school, and work, and frequently engage in risky behaviors. Young people's access to opportunity and support system or lack thereof, coupled with how systematic policies impact their lives, can lead to significant lifelong impacts on well-being.